This afternoon, I'm talking to the Liberal Democrat MP for Wimbledon, Paul Kohler. You're also Shadow Transport spokesperson and you're a member of the Home Office Select Committee. You've joined your Liberal Democrat colleagues condemning Rachel Reev's plans to expand Heathrow and other airports. How do you think that she should be growing the economy, and obviously not by expanding Heathrow to a third runway?
Well, indeed. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to talk to you and your listeners. The best estimate, and this is the best estimate, Rachel Reeves' own estimate, expanding Heathrow will only add 0.4% to growth, and that will take till the 2040s. Whilst it's generally accepted, the hit from Brexit is at least 4%. So why the government is putting effort into having a fight over Heathrow, when in reality they could get 10 times as much growth simply by engaging with Europe, is quite beyond me. We're pushing them to join the customs union or to start proper negotiation about a form of customs union, which will cut the various obstacles to exporting at the moment.
I think she got her figures with Heathrow that it was going to create 100,000 new jobs. And I think that was based back from some transport ministry's study, and they actually said it might create between 49 and 98,000 new jobs, but that would be at the expense of other airports. So where she got this report from, it seems to use outdated information for starters.
Well, according to stories in the Observer this weekend, one of the reports she was basing on was paid for by Heathrow. Well, it's hardly the most the most objective approach. The point is, even if she's right about growth, it will take till the 2040s. Many people don't think she is right about growth because all it will be is more planes coming in and out and passengers simply using it as a hub to move on to other places. So many people don't think that the growth argument is a good one. But even so, re-engaging with Europe is far more effective and far easier. It's
Yep.
clear that Europe is shown that they want to talk. They want us to offer something. If we go and negotiate with them and then just offer them a lot of red lines, they're not going to want to negotiate.
And do you agree? I think we're now, UK is in a very strong position with Trump saying he's going to put tariffs to get together with Europe so we can actually work against the tariffs that he might be trying to put on us, all of us.
Yeah, we need to strengthen numbers. It's clear that Trump is trying to pick people off. We need to be part of a European group who are going to fight this and stand up for ourselves. It's important. Trump only respects strength, not weakness. If we appeal for help, he'll ignore us. If we're part of a strong Europe saying, look, we will not be bullied, that's far the better way to approach it.
Yeah. And I think one of the important things he could engage with really early on is the youth mobility scheme to get our young people, for au pairs, for people working bars in the hospitality industry, moving between the UK and Europe. Don't you agree?
It was such a good offer, and I heard a journalist from the FT saying the other day they couldn't believe it when Labour threw it out of hand during the election campaign and said they weren't interested. Of course, it makes sense. It makes sense for our young people so they can work and travel in Europe. It makes sense for our hospitality industry so that people can come here and work. The bars in London for years and years, many of them were staffed by young people on the Grand Tour from Europe. That's helpful. That's good. That's useful. Of course, we should be doing it. And to dismiss it out of hand is just quite beyond me.
Yeah. And do you have people from your constituency coming into you, people that own bars, that saying we can't get the staff?
Yes, I hear this from hospitality industry all the time. I'm chair of an APPG on the nighttime economy. I own a bar as well. I own a bar in central London, so I see it myself. Bar owners across London are desperate for staff, and we need a youth mobility scheme both to help our youth and to get more staff into hospitality.
Yeah. Going on, you have recently highlighted the importance of restorative justice, and you've had first-hand experience of it yourself. You've asked the Prime Minister to put an emphasis on this scheme. Can you tell me a little bit about it and how you were affected by it?
Yeah, well, when I was attacked in my home, it's over a decade ago now. When I was attacked in my home, it was clearly traumatic, particularly for my daughter, who was upstairs hearing what she thought was her parents being murdered. We had a restorative justice session with the charity Why Me, and it had a huge effect, particularly on my daughter. She left home subsequent to the attack, and she returned to it afterwards. She left home after the attack, and she returned after the restorative justice session because it helps us so much. And my fear is that the government are just not putting enough effort into it. We need a new action plan for restorative justice, and that's not present. At the moment, the police are told to tell every victim about it, but police have a lot to do. They often just hand you a note, a leaflet, and nothing more. We need the government to realise restorative justice will help both on recidivism rates, because all the evidence is it cuts down reoffending and helps put the victims at the heart of the criminal justice system. And neither of those things are fully appreciated yet by the government. Although to do him justice, the Prime Minister did say he knew it was important. They need to put some actual impetus into making it a priority for police and crime commissioners and police forces across the country.
Is that the first steps you think they should take towards making this process more viable for people who are affected by crimes and also the criminals themselves?
Yes. Primarily, it's put victims at the heart of the criminal justice system, but equally, it does have a beneficial effect on recidivism rates. And what we need is ring-fence funding for restorative justice. At the moment, all they're saying is, well, we give a certain amount of money to police and crime commissioners for fighting crime, but we need to actually earmark it for restorative justice. That's the only way to make sure it's spent on that. At the moment, it's a piecemeal process.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. You've recently met with Sir Mark Rowley to discuss policing in Wimbledon, and you've been talking about the future of Wimbledon Police Station. What are your main concerns in this area?
Well, my concerns are that recently the BCU commander for the Southwest London, which includes Wimbledon, was somewhat equivocal about whether Wimbledon Police Station would survive. It's crucial it does. That's why I took the Mayor of London to court all that time ago to save it. And we've not yet got any guarantees about its long-term future. So, and remember, following my legal action, Merton is one of very few boroughs in London with more than one police station. Nearly every other borough in London only has one police station. So we have two, Mitcham and Wimbledon, and we risk losing one unless we fight for them. Now, it's my role to fight for Wimbledon Police Station, but as I've said to Merton Council, they should be fighting for both of them. Now, Mark Rowley he acknowledged the importance of Wimbledon Police Station, but he could not give me any guarantees at this stage. All we know is that the police estate plan is coming out in a few months. So my argument to people of Wimbledon is fight for your police station, please sign our petition. What I say to Merton Council is please fight for both our police stations, both Wimbledon and Mitcham.
Yeah, and where can they find your petition?
Our petition's on our website. We're also knocking at people's doors, but it's on our website. If you go onto the Lib Dems website, it's there very clearly on the front page.
Good, so they should sign the petition. Have you noticed, are you still getting a problem with people saying there's not enough bobbies on the street, we're not seeing enough police presence? And are you noticing police are being diverted from your area to sort out protests in central London, which has been happening in other areas?
Yeah, it's a real issue. There's a number of factors here. You know, between 2015 and 2024, the number of community police officers in London was reduced by a third. A third of them disappeared. So clearly, London is suffering from that. We also have this problem with, of course, police officers being taken away from their community policing and sent to police riots or protests.
Yeah.
Now, it's important you have police at these protests, but Mark Rowley has made the point. He knows too often it's the local neighbourhood coppers who get taken off, and he made a commitment to me when we spoke that wouldn't be the case, that they would prioritise keeping neighbourhood police officers in the community. So I'm sure he will do that. He said one of his three priorities was community policing. The community policing and violence against women were two important things he wanted covered, and he knew they had to be addressed.
And you were happy with Mr. Mark Rowley's response?
I was. He's genuine. He's fighting with budget cuts. He still can't afford to pay for what he wants to do. He's got a shortfall of us 135 million pounds, which he's having to save money on. But he promised me he would not save that money by cutting neighbourhood policing.
That's good. And finally, you've recently challenged the Minister for Women and Equalities, Bridget Phillipson, about schools being pushed closer to the brink by Labour's decision not to give any monies to fund teachers' pay increases. And you cited the head of Richard Challoner School, I think is it in New Malden? What were his concerns?
Well, his concerns were that rightly the school teachers have been awarded a pay increase, but the government have given absolutely no money to fund it. Sean Maher, the head of Richard Challoner, says, what are we meant to do? He has a brilliant workforce. They've been there for many years, so many of them are senior, and he's really worried about how he will fund the pay increase when he's been given absolutely no money. It's crucial the government gives money for these wage increases. And whilst we support the wage increases 100%, the money must be found. There must be new money. It can't be taken from existing budgets.
So what you're saying is that there isn't really any new money. They're just moving money around. Is that right?
There's no new money. They've said that the pay increase must be made, and that's right, but they've given no money. They said the money must be found from existing budgets, i.e. cutting either staff or other things within the schools. And that's clearly no way to run a school. It said that according to the figures I've seen from the NEU, 94% of secondary schools, 76% of primary schools will not be able to afford their costs next year. So the vast majority of our schools are going to be in deficit because of this. That's simply not a way to run schools. And our head teachers need all the support they can get.
So in effect, they're not really getting any new money from central government. The central government is saying, oh yeah, you can give your teachers 5.5% more as a pay increase, but you've got to fund it yourselves. Is that right?
Yeah. Exactly that. So you must fund it, but fund it by cutting other things within the school. It would have cost the government £700 million to fund this pay award, and they should have found that money. It's crucial.
Okay, well, that probably wraps it up, unless there's anything you want to say that's occurring in your office, in your constituency at the moment that you want to talk about.
The assisted dying bill is still in stage at this point. They are hearing evidence from various experts, but it'll be a few months, I think, before it returns to the Commons for the third reading. So that matter is still live, and again, I don't think there's any certainty which way the final vote will go, actually. So that's still a live issue, and I know that's a great concern on both constituents on both sides of the argument. So that's still going through Parliament, and my postbag is still full of things from everything from failures with council services, with local government services, and national government services. That people are suffering. Issues of immigration, issues of housing, and the cost of living crisis, of course. These things are all coming through my email inbox every day, and we're doing our best to help people.
Well, thank you, Paul. I know you do a great job. Thank you for coming to talk to me again on Radio Jackie. I look forward to catching up with you again next month, and we'll continue this conversation. Hopefully, you might have waded through some of your postbag and your emails.
We'll keep doing that. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you, Paul.
Bye-bye.
Good afternoon. Bye.